Hello. Okay, I think I updated all the stuff. Hopefully. So let's see. Got lots of tiny little things. I'm just going to start at the top of my list and do anything that seems worth doing right now. So the first thing I have a note of, I figured out a better way to word some text that we need to get in here. Let's see, this is text when you water the, we're going too fast. When you water the plant. So that'll be in this scene. Yes, this text here. Suddenly but slowly, which doesn't really make sense. But it made sense in my head. I just couldn't think of a better way to describe it. So what I came up with is a tiny sprout pops up from the dirt, then gently unfurls. So kind of the image I'm trying to create here is that, you know, it very quickly pops up, but then it, you know, unfurls slowly. So hopefully this communicates that a little better. What? Okay, we got there eventually. Carefully water the pot with toilet water. A tiny sprout pops up from the dirt, then gently unfurls. Great. Oh, right. Another thing I have on my to-do list is to add a new little sweetie phrase, which is don't know, don't care. I think I'll skip over that one for now, but we'll come back and do that one later, probably. This next item on my list is going to be mildly tedious, but I don't think it'll be too bad. I need to go through and check the code I've written for any scenes where we've written code to handle the room description as opposed to just entering it in the standard room description area. So this is rooms where kind of the room itself changes in some significant way after some actions. Hinton says, I'm, quote, at work, so surely it is tedium o'clock. I agree. And I'm sorry to hear you're at work. So I'm just going to try to go through every single scene, and this start screen is still completely blank. Eventually, that will be our title screen, I think. Credits. That's fine as is. Oh, I still haven't hooked in the help screen. Eventually, we need to do that. So I'm just opening these up. If the scene text on the right here is blank, then that means the scene text is handled in code. So that's then we need to go in the scene code and check how I wrote that. Efton says, it is tedious and don't call me Shirley. I apologize. So the thing I'm looking for is this line here. So loop equals 0 means this code will get executed when you first enter the room before doing any actions. And then we also want this to happen if the text includes look. In some cases, I use 2 equal signs here, so this will only execute if you type look exactly. But the way World Builder handles the default scene text, a single equal sign is what we need to match that behavior. And the main reason I'm opening the this view first is because often the code takes a long time to load, so it's quicker just to check this first. I'm still not 100% happy with this border. It's definitely not bad. It's just, it's so close to what I was envisioning. It's just not quite there. Also, I have been thinking very hard about Cameron's last name. I feel like I should come up with a last name, but I don't have anything that seems quite right yet. Hinton says, can you run multiple emulator instances, each with a different part of the game open, but all accessing the same files? That's a great question. I don't think so. Also, that would probably be a very bad idea if I could. Oh. We checked these already? Yeah, we did. Okay. This is just a storage area, a special storage area. Okay, this text will eventually, I think, need to change. Also, another thing we should do today is create, I have decided, based on some testing Xenolon did on an actual computer, that we need a separate version of the study when the light is turned off. Even just in the emulator, it runs very sluggish. So I think this is a good time to go ahead and split that up. Okay, so there's another one. I think we already fixed this one. I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up doing nothing right now because I think I already got the couple rooms where this was a problem, but that's okay. Hinton says, I've never met a bad computer idea I didn't immediately want to try. I kind of wish I felt that way. That sounds great, honestly. I'm simply not brave enough, I guess. Okay, single equal sign. That looks good. It's really, Xenolon sent some videos of a couple portions of the game, and it's really interesting to see how the game displays on that original Macintosh. Like it draws all the vector layers one at a time. So there's lots of stuff that appears that, you know, wouldn't normally be there. For example, it's very fast, but you see it a little bit when we were opening up this view. Like, you know, layers that are underneath other layers you can see before they get covered up by the next layer. I'll open the code. I didn't mean to do that. Ah, I found one. So that had a double equal sign, but now it's just one. So that should work better. It was time well spent after all. I think this one I already fixed. Make sure. Yep, single. Oh, is that it? I think we're done. Great. Not so bad. Okay, so Next thing on my list is a to-do item. Hello, Rita. Welcome. Also, let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. We are working on a game in World Builder, which is a program for making point-and-click adventure games from 1986 for the original Macintosh. There's a little bit more info about it there if you're interested. Okay, respond when removing fresh battery is a thing we don't have yet. I think the way I'm going to handle that is by simply saying, no, you can't do that. Which is actually consistent with some code I already have. Let's see, this screen. Do you have any knowledge about Windows kernel developing? Absolutely not. I'm more of a Mac guy, and even as far as Mac stuff goes, definitely don't have any kernel development experience. Okay. Do we need to add a Shirley command? Just for FTON. What am I looking for? The battery removal code. So, insert battery. Up here we have... Okay, interesting. Okay. So I think what we'll do here, so this is code. It first checks if the used battery is currently installed. And then it checks if you have clicked on the battery or tried to take it out. And then if you're at the correct time in the game to do that, then it will allow you to remove it. Otherwise, it says, since the battery seems to be working, you decide it's best to leave it installed. So we're going to just copy this whole chunk. And we're going to move it down here. Let's see, after this block. So this section handles the fresh battery that we have grown from a plant. And we're going to remove this chunk. I'm going to change this to reference the fresh battery. And then we'll have the same response. So since the fresh battery always works, like once you install it, through to the end of the game, there's no reason to ever remove it, so we'll always have this response in that scenario. Let's see, we added text when the little sweetie shuts off, I think. Respond to trying to get water when there's no water in the toilet. Okay. I can't remember if I did that already. Once I've done a bunch of this stuff, then we'll go and test it all and make sure it's working correctly. I know we fixed the water plant command, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. Oh no. I wrote a note that just says, you don't have it, in quotes, should exit. But there's no note about what screen that's referring to. I think that's the flower pot. Crap. I hope it's the flower pot. Okay. So here's a case where it prints you don't have it, and then in that case it does exit. It's also possible that I already fixed what this note is referring to. It's near other stuff related to the plant, so I'm just going to go through this code and make sure. Sven, thank you so much for that resub. 6 whole months of support. I appreciate that very, very greatly, and also it's great to see you. I hope you're doing well. Thank you again. Okay, so here's another you don't have it, and we do exit there. I think I must have already fixed this. Okay, looks good. Click on plant or battery equals close up. Oh, okay. So that is referring to in the greenhouse. So here's what our greenhouse looks like without any items present. And I already have code set up so that if you click on this pot, it takes you to the close-up view. But later we have a plant appear, and we also have a little sprout version of the plant. And then there's a separate battery graphic also. So all three of those objects, if you click on them, it should take you to the close-up. Just to, avoid any confusion. So let's see, plant battery small. I'm just gonna make a note of what these are all named. And then I think these two here. Yeah. So pot plant 1 small and pot plant 2 small. So that's in the greenhouse. So, okay, so this code here. So we'll just add a bunch of other checks here. So, ooh, this is actually not great. So I've mentioned this in the past, but if you use a single equal sign when you're checking if the player has clicked on something, it will actually match, with a single equal sign, it will match anything that includes this phrase you have typed, which I don't think is the behavior I intended here. I'm pretty sure this is a complete name of the item, and I don't think we want to match anything that has, a longer version of that name. Let me double check. I don't think that is currently an issue. Yeah. But, if I happen to create another object that had a similar name, then, suddenly my code could do something weird. So try to use 2 equal signs when possible. Sven says, with pleasure. Due to the time difference, I can usually watch your streams after they have aired, so I'm pleased to be here in time this time. Wonderful. I'm glad you were able to stop by. Okay, so plant battery small, pot plant 1 small. Pot plant 2 small. And then plant battery small. And just updating my notes to make sure I test all this when we go back into the game. Insert new battery or insert fresh battery should work. Okay. So that's back in the little sweetie screens. Little sweetie open. So this is a case where I would prefer to just have the code be more flexible, but that's not really a good option. So we're just going to add additional. This code isn't an issue. So, yeah, this is tricky. Honestly, I might have to think more about this. There's not a great way to do this because we have a lot of different verbs you can use here. So if you type insert battery, replace battery, put in battery, and put battery will catch something like put battery in, which sounds a little more natural and I think is reasonable to accept. Also install battery. So ideally, if they, like, the item is called fresh battery, which you could very easily get through the game without ever noticing that it is named that. But if you happen to notice it, you might want to refer to it as fresh battery. Because sometimes World Builder itself will require that. Like if you want to drop this item, you would have to type drop fresh battery. So ideally, we should allow you to type that name when referring to it. But the way this code is written, you can't. And the only way to fix that is to basically double all of this. So we have versions that include the word fresh. Or split this up. So we check for verb and then noun separately in a different if statement, which is a little bit messy. French battery. I'm just trying to decide what I want to do. I guess generally I have split it up, so maybe we should just go ahead and do that. And then the other thing I'm thinking about is if we want to do this with these other checks as well. This gets more complicated because we're checking for a click or text. And if I split up the text parsing, then I have to duplicate the code to handle the click because there's only one thing to check for in that case. I would love to just have some way to like define, different ways to refer to a specific item or something like that. Yeah, I'm going to think about this. I'm also going to put some question marks after my note about it. I'm not sure what best way to do this is. Okay, so next is respond to trying to get water when there's no water in the toilet. That's another thing where I might have done it already, but we should check. So this is when you open the toilet lid. Okay. So here we our toilet water graphic is labeled toilet milk. A perfectly normal thing to do. So we check if the toilet milk and the watering can are present. And then we check if you're attempting to use the watering can to fill. If you're attempting to fill the watering can or get the water or put water in the watering can or draw water. So here's a case where we're handling more complex phrases. But because I check for the objects in the scene first, that means if you try to take these actions when there's no water or no watering can, then you just get a huh in response. I'm just scrolling down to double check that I didn't already check for these cases elsewhere. Okay, so I didn't. So there's two ways I can do this, and neither one is entirely ideal. I can reorder the if statements, or I can kind of duplicate this whole thing and then just, you know, change this if statement. So like, you know, if they have the watering can but there's no water, then we need a specific response for that. Or if there's water but no watering can, we need an appropriate response for that as well. I think I will move this. I think this approach is more consistent with what I've done elsewhere. Oh, there's so many different things to check for here. Oh, gosh. Also, I hate that whenever you hit return, it will automatically change the indenting, which makes it really easy to lose track of things. Okay, I think that's what I want. Water. Okay, so now we're checking if the toilet water is here, if the watering can is here. And then we also have a check to make sure that the toilet lid is open. I think I kind of hate to like continue nesting if statements, but I think that's the best way to handle this. So I'm going to add another one here. And then add another exit down here. Okay. So first we check for noun, then we check for verb, then we check for the watering can, then we check for the toilet water, then we check for the toilet lid being open. And if it gets all the way to that fifth check, then it's successful. Otherwise, if it passes 4, but not the toilet lid being open, then it says you can't get the water while the lid is closed. And then basically what we need to do here is add fallbacks for these other checks failing. So in this case, they have the watering can, but there's no water. So we're going to say there's no water in the toilet. And then in this case, they do not have the watering can. So we're going to say, okay, in this block, they're specifically trying to fill the watering can. So we're just going to say you don't have it. Below, if they're typing something like get water, we'll want to have a different response. So it'll say something like you don't have anything to put the water in. Okay, so I think this handles all our cases now. So like if they have the watering can, but there's no water, we handle that. If there's water, but no watering can, we handle that. Yeah. Shall be good. It's a little bit messy, but it should be fine. Okay. I'm just making sure that the exits and ends are correct. In this case, like if they enter a phrase that includes both fill and watering can, then we will have some response to that. So that means we want exit for all of these. But if they just try to do something with the watering can that's not filling it, then we don't respond to that here, and we want to make sure to end rather than exit. So any code following that will still get processed. You know, maybe they're trying to drop the watering can. And if we had an exit here, that would not be possible. Okay, so now we just need to do basically the same thing down here. Oh god, I just realized something is... We have two ends that aren't indented, so I screwed something up somewhere. I don't know where. I think I must have kind of fixed it, and then I just need to delete one of those ends. That's probably what happened. Because all this seems correct. Don't know how this happened, which makes me nervous, but I think it's okay now. And the rest of this looks fine. Oh, right. I see what happened. Okay, previously this chunk here was inside of the check to make sure if the water and watering can were present. So that's why the end was all the way down there. And since it's no longer inside those checks, we need to add those checks to that block as well. So I'm adding 2 if statements, so I want 2 new exits. So if the text contains water and the text contains get, put, or draw, then we do these same checks. And if any of those checks fail, we need a similar response. And then again, instead of you don't have it, we need to say, you know, if they type get water, we need to say you don't have anything to put it in. Our character is not Guybrush Threepwood from Donkey Island, so she is unable to carry around water in her mouth. Also, it's toilet water. I mean, maybe Guybrush would be okay with that, but I don't think Cameron is. You don't have anything to put it in. I guess well, no. I was going to say maybe we should specify that it is water, but they've included water in their command, so it is fine. Thank you, Fdon. Hinton says, the first thing I'm going to mod into this game is Guybrush cheek carrying. Great. I support this.
Thanks.
Thank you, Fdon. Okay, so I think all that is good now. That wasn't so bad. It's a little messy, but not too bad. So I'm just updating my notes of things we need to test here. Let's see what else we have. Take battery after inserting the new battery should have a response. I think I ended up with 2 notes about that, so we've already done that. I'm still not happy with the bus stop names we have. I think I've decided I want bus stop names that are less obvious. That we're in purgatory. Like, there's lots of strange things going on that suggest we're not just in, you know, the normal real world. But I don't want to have a thing right at the very beginning of the game that strongly suggests you're in some sort of like afterlife area. And currently our bus stops do very strongly suggest that. But I still haven't come up with good alternatives. So We'll have to leave that for another time. Let's see. Hinton says, okay, you're going to hate this, but could the bus stop locations change each time you look at them? They could. I don't hate it. But then I got to come up with even more names. Really ordinary names, but they don't stay static. I do kind of love that. That is pretty fun. I'm going to make a note of this. Also, Hinton, I appreciate you for consistently challenging me. You're always coming up with ideas that are kind of a pain in the ass to implement, but also pretty great, which is wonderful. Crowdsource the names, IMO. Yeah, like feel free if you want to suggest names, go for it. I have a list of names, so I will simply add them on, and once we have enough, we will work on that. Let's see. This is just some notes about things I was going to mention, and I already did that a long time ago. We finally added our Roastmaster certificate, so that's all good. Oh, some descriptions? Names could be little Easter eggs from classic adventures. That is a fun idea. Definitely support this idea. Okay, let's go ahead and get these different item descriptions in. Be nice to clear that off the to-do list. I missed Hinton's comment. I make work harder for everyone. Wonderful. Okay. So this isn't our global code. And at one point I decided, because there's at least one item you need to be able to look at. Well, there's like 3 different items at this point. Items you have in your inventory that you need to be able to look at and or interact with for gameplay reasons. So I was thinking, since we have that, it should probably just be a standard thing that you can look at and get a nice close-up of any of your inventory items. Which technically we could do, but I wasn't able to do it in the way I had in mind because of limitations of World Builder. So what I've settled on is, unless there's a good reason to actually show the graphic of the, close-up item, we'll just have a text description. So we have that for a few things already, our potato and watering can, but we have some other inventory items that we don't have a description of yet. So let's copy this. So basically we just need to check for some text, and this block is within a larger block where we check if they're using a verb that suggests they want to interact with it. Currently, this means you can open or use things where that doesn't really make sense. For now, I'm just kind of not worrying about it. I'd rather have a consistent way to do this. So like open soup bone, for example, makes no sense, but we will allow that as a way to get a description of the soup bone. So what are we going to say about the soup bone? The first thing that comes to mind is someone at some point, might have been Unseeker Crush, pointed out that a soup bone doesn't actually look like what I've drawn. Like, what I've drawn is a very, like, cartoon dog bone kind of thing. So let's maybe reference that in our response here. Is this actually a soup bone? somehow it feels like it's a soup bone, but you're not sure soup bones actually look like this. It's kind of a long cartoon dog bone. Which that actually gives you a little hint about how to use it. So great IMO. Unseeker crushes the reality police. Ouch. Okay, so next one is the key. Ooh, this one I need to check. I think we called it normal key. In order for any of these actions to be successful, you need to be holding the item. So we need to check for... Yeah, there's normal key. Great. It says, please don't tell her I said that. Okay, I won't. She might be listening, though. So in which case, I'm sorry. What are we going to say about the normal key? I think for most of the other normal objects, we kind of have some description that talks about how incredibly normal they are. So I guess we'll do that here. This is the most normal key you've ever seen. Actually, I think I can do better than this. We'll start out by actually describing it. It's a small silver key. Probably a house key. It's... Whoops. It's the most normal key you've ever seen. There we go. Something like that. Hello, Marius K. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Okay. Normal. Oh, I messed up my code here. That would have been a syntax error. Otherwise, that's good. Good morning to you as well. It's more evening here, but you know, we're not too picky about these things. Next is the skull. Oh, I already did the potato. I have occasionally thought about the skull. We did name the skull Agent Scully, and the game just kind of starts referring to the skull as Agent Scully immediately without any explanation. And I'm kind of torn on whether to just leave that or, you know, maybe we'll just change it to Skull and if you examine it, we explain that the skull's name is in fact Agent Scully. I don't know. It's tough. But we'll have a response here that explains it regardless. It's... I'm trying to think how to describe this other than that. It's a human skull. The skull's name is Agent Skull. You're not sure how you know that. And next is a light bulb. Ooh, this is tricky. Generally, I've allowed the player to refer to the light bulb by either light or bulb. And if they use both together, the way I've written the code, like that'll work fine. So we might need to kind of duplicate this check here. What do we want to say about the light bulb? It's a pretty standard light bulb. I forget if we ever had a chat about whether light bulb standards are different in different countries. I feel like we maybe talked about this briefly at one point, but I don't remember what we learned. I'm wondering if we should clarify that it is a standard American light bulb or not. Hello, Adrift on a Sea. That would be Mulder. I'm sure light bulbs America would horrify me. Oh no. Please tell me about your light bulbs. Everyone tell me about the light bulbs in your country. The ones here are... I don't know how to describe them other than they're ordinary. The screw part is maybe like... Oh gosh, I was about to say 3/4 of an inch diameter, which I think is roughly correct, but I've gone ahead and used inches. I guess that's like 2 centimeters maybe. I'm so sorry. What's a good Scully catchphrase? I'm trying to think of. Definitely Mulder is the one that says, "I want to believe." I can't think of like a standard Scully catchphrase. That's terrible. LED bayonet or screw? LED bayonet? I don't even know what you mean by that. I'm Googling it so I can see what it looks like. Oh, okay. So it just kind of like it slides into place and it's got little pins to lock it in the correct position. That's interesting. That's not a type of bulb I encounter very often. There's definitely a variety of different bulbs in the US, but most of them are some sort of screw-in bulb. They're just different sizes of screw. I think it goes in straight and turns to stay in place. Yeah, makes sense. And like LED bulbs here are basically just, they insert the same way as a standard bulb. I'm sure there's some cases where you have a specific type of LED bulb, but I definitely don't encounter those very often. Like a bayonet, stab and twist. Got it. Hello, Uli. Good to see you. Hinton says, I think our light bulbs are pretty similar. We used to have bayonet mostly, but screw has become more common. The energy-efficient bulb craze has led to all kinds of shapes. Interesting. Yeah, definitely, like, the overall shape of the bulb has started to vary a lot more. But, like, the connection mechanism has remained consistent here, just so you can, replace your standard bulbs with them. Incandescent. Okay, so it's a pretty standard American light bulb. Should it be? I was about to type that it's incandescent. Did I draw it that way? I think I did, actually. Like, I put a filament in it, so. Did I type that right? Incandescent. I think that's correct. I used to be incredibly good at spelling. Spell check and autocorrect has completely destroyed my ability to have any confidence in my spelling. And then, I don't know why, but I feel the need to point out that the filament is intact. It's not important at all in the game, but... Uli says, we have screw, usually E14 or E27, except halogen lights have a weird click connector. Okay. So is that maybe similar to the bayonet style that Adrift on a Sea brought up? Hinton says, is there anything more American than the light bulb? I mean, I guess I feel like the the standard thing that's supposed to be the most American is apple pie. But I don't know if that's factually correct. There's a lot of LED nonsense out there, particularly lamps with soldered-in LEDs. Yeah. I'm not a fan of that, that you got to throw away when the LEDs die. Yeah, like, they're always like, oh, it'll last, 10 years. It'll last a lifetime. But then, if there's some sort of failure, unexpected failure, then you just got to replace the whole thing, and that's terrible. Apple pie light bulb, maybe. There you go. Oh, the halogens just click straight in. No twist needed. Interesting. "10 years a lifetime? Goodness, I hope to live longer than that." Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure I've seen like those kind of soldered in bulbs referred to that way. And they're just saying like it's the lifetime of the device, which yikes. Okay, where are we at here? We handled the bulb. Oh yeah, we need to handle the case where they're typing "look at light." So we'll just duplicate that and change that to light. There's unfortunately no good way to get that all in one statement. Actually, that's not true. Let's improve this. So we can say, you can't combine and or in a single statement, but we can break this up in a way that's a little bit more efficient. So we'll check for the noun, and then we'll check if they have the item in a separate if statement. That's a little better. Drift on a sea. What are these quotes? "As your friend and as a physician, you are on dangerous ground here. The science that we were taught takes us..." But are these different Scully quotes? Is that what you're giving me? Got it. Thank you. It took me a minute to catch on. "Sometimes I think the world is going to hell and we're the only people who can save it. The internet is not good for you." Should we... Now I'm a little tempted to have different Scully quotes pop up when you... Oh, maybe you could talk to the skull? Maybe you can talk to Agent Scully. I'm copying all these quotes down. I'm not going to do it right this moment, but I do like this idea. So thank you for all your suggestions. We will finish this game someday, I swear. Hinton says, "My favorite Scully quote is beep crash." I don't remember that one. "Whatever you're feeling, you did the right thing." "I'm afraid that God is speaking and no one is listening." Oh gosh. So why do you need a spacer between robots anyway? That's the wrong type of spacer. Robot spacer is a robot who travels through space on a spaceship. That kind of spacer. "There's a lot of money to be made in scaring people." Ooh. Both true and upsetting. "She was explaining the cause of death to the lone gunman. A man had been hit by a bus." Thank you for clarifying. Okay. Gosh, I just... now I'm thinking about the X-Files game I've been playing on Tuesday. I'm excited to play more of that. And I hope... definitely, I think my biggest complaint about that game is how little Mulder and Scully we've had so far. Have they even said anything? Like, they're only in the intro at this point. I do hope we will be able to interact with them at least a little bit. Hopefully they haven't died. Okay, I think that's all our items. Let's see, there's also the cloth. We'll want to review whether I've missed any items, but that's everything on my list here. I think at this point, this would be a good time to go test some stuff. Maybe you're just seeing what you wanted to see. I'm afraid. I'm afraid to believe. We definitely won't be able to get all of these in, but I am continuing to make a note of all of them. They're ingrained cliches from 1,000 different horror films. I'm glad you like the music. This is from some playlists that MZizzy made, and you can check them all out on YouTube there. Okay, Untitled Game. That's us. Okay. So I have notes about things to test. I'm just trying to think about the order we should test things in. Okay, so let's cheat and get our items. Actually, this is a good opportunity to test the looking at stuff code. Let's open the book. Oh, the batteries. Look at fresh battery or used battery. Okay, there's our potato. So now we can look at wit. There's our certificate of wit. Oh. Oh no. Oh no, we're stuck here. I can fix this. Cheat house. Okay. Very scary. So already we got new things for the to-do list. Can't exit certificate close-up. And certificate description needs space at end. Just a minor little thing. Okay. Command I. There we go. That's easier. What if we could stop, pause to take stock? Might we then see the endless forks in the road that have shaped a life? And seeing those choices, choose another path? Pile of cheat items lands on top of you and the world goes black. You wish you hadn't cheated. That is very funny. I will most likely remove the cheat codes at the end of the game. Hinton suggests logically I would have to say no. Dana Scully. Okay, let's look at bone. Is this actually a soup bone? Somehow it feels like it's a soup bone, but you're not sure soup bones actually look like this. It's kind of a long cartoon bone. Long cartoon dog bone, excuse me. Let's see. Key. Look at key. It's a small silver key. Probably a house key. It's the most normal key you've ever seen. Look, Sweetie, of course, we already know how that goes. Look at skull. It's a human skull. The skull's name is Agent Scully. You're not sure how you know that. Look at book. Of course, that's our book close-up. Look at bulb. It's pretty standard incandescent American light bulb. The filament is intact. We also want to make sure that look at light bulb works. And look at light. Great. Let's see. Look at potato. It's a potato. I just think they're neat, you think to yourself. Look at battery. So this I don't think will work right now. Yeah, it just gives us the room description since we haven't handled that yet. Look at cloth. Should give us a close-up because that's a puzzle item. And watering can. Look at can. Oh. Okay. Look at watering can. Okay. I think I did that because I was worried that maybe can would catch some things unintentionally. Because the way the code is written, we don't have a decanter in the game, but let's say we did. The way the code is written, if you type look at decanter, then checking for look at can would match that. And we don't really want that. So I think generally I've required the player to type watering can specifically. And I think I will leave that as is unless we get feedback that it's confusing. I want you to do me a favor. It's not negotiable. Not negotiable. Either you do it or I kill you. You understand? Wow. Scully's getting aggressive here. I support it. Baby me and you'll be peeing through a catheter. These are great. I don't have time for your convenient ignorance. Sure, fine, whatever. Please explain to me the scientific nature of the whammy. What is the context for that? Okay, so we're done with testing that. We do have a couple things to fix, but otherwise pretty good. So next let's test the toilet water situation. So let's cheat house. So currently we have the watering can, but there's no water in the toilet. So let's take water. There's no water in the toilet. That's interesting. I think we need to reorder the checks because at this point you don't know that there's no water in the toilet because you can't see. So I think checking for the lid being open needs to come first. I think we should check for watering can, then lid, then water in the toilet. So let's go ahead and fix that before we bother testing further. Mulder's saying something about someone getting the whammy. That makes sense, I suppose. There's the bathroom. Okay, so just scroll down a little. There we go. So currently we check for whether you have the watering can, whether there's toilet water present, and then whether the lid is open. So we just need to reorder these two here. And then these responses need to get swapped. Okay, so can, lid open, toilet water, successful. If there's no toilet water, there's no water in the toilet. If the lid is closed, you can't get water while the lid is closed. If there's no water in can, you don't have it. Good. And we just need to do the same thing down here. This is just a similar block of code that handles slightly different parser input. Okay, So we check for the command, then we check for the watering can, then the lid being open, and then the toilet water. If we get all that, then it's successful. If there's no toilet water, there's no water in the toilet. If the lid is closed, you can't get water while the lid is closed. If there's no watering can, you don't have anything to put it in. Great. Uli says, current status, I'm going through all my Code Warrior CDs to find the one I used years ago that didn't crash Sheep Shaver. That's kind of hard to say. When you entered the debugger. Oh, interesting. Okay, cheat items. We just need the watering can right now, I think. Yeah. Chat with the house or cheat house, whichever you prefer. Okay, now we'll get water. You can't get water while the lid is closed. Perfect. Let's drop the watering can. Get water. You don't have anything to put it in. Good. So I think I'll test all the possible scenarios here, and then we'll have to reload to test some other ones. Get water. There's no water in the toilet. Let's drop watering can again. Get water. Don't have anything to put it in. Now I can flush. You flush the toilet, and the toilet bowl fills with water from the tank. Get water. It's a bit difficult to get the watering can into the toilet, but somehow you manage. The watering can is now full of toilet water. Great. What happens if we type get water now? Ooh. That's not intentional. I'm trying to decide whether I should worry about it. Should I make the complicated code even more complicated? Just gonna make a note. You can get water when you already have it. Is that okay? It's really not a big deal at all. But it would be nice to say something more appropriate, like, you know, the watering can is already full of water. Uli says, I also dislike menus in System 6 apps. Way too few menu separator lines. System 7 for life. Interesting. I have found that I just really like System 6 overall. I certainly don't have any major complaints with System 7. This just feels like, I guess it's kind of the most nostalgic for me, is probably a lot of it. And like, honestly, I'm surprised it hasn't bothered me, but I kind of like not having Multifinder. Just, I don't know. It definitely makes some things more tedious, but it's just kind of, the simplicity is enjoyable. And since, you know, things run a lot faster, it hasn't really been that big of an annoyance. Okay, so let's close this. I'm trying to think of... I guess I should try the responses for using fill watering can, since that's a completely separate code path. Okay, so fill watering can. Can't get water while the lid is closed. Let's drop the watering can. Fill watering can. You don't have it. Good. Open lid. Okay, I was like, crap, did I actually write code to handle that? But it's good. You open the toilet lid. The bowl is nearly empty, as though the water dried up after a long period of disuse. So let's fill the watering can. There's no water in the toilet. Let's drop the watering can. This should work fine. I just want to make sure. Don't have it. Great. Let's flush. Fill watering can. It's a bit difficult to get the watering can into the toilet, but somehow you manage. The watering can is now full of toilet water. Great. So mostly that's good now. Next we have some battery and Lil Sweetie related things to test. Just put these in the right order. Okay. Uli says, I like a lot of the System 6 apps that stopped working in System 7, but Windows zooming and Finder is basically non-existent. But yeah, Single Finder is kind of nice, but System 7.5 has a high desktop option that works for me. Okay. All right. So. Use the Sweetie. Oh, once again, I forgot to go where there's Wi-Fi. There's our new message. And now we have the text, the Little Sweetie suddenly turned off while you were using it. Almost like it ran out of power or something. I was pretty sure we already tested that, but I wanted to double check because it was still in my notes. Okay, so when you try to turn it back on or press any button, nothing happens. But we can open the battery cover and let's try a text command here. Remove battery. Remove the used battery. Okay, so now, actually, we need some of these items here. We need the book and the bulb. So the next thing to check is once we have a sprout, we need to check that clicking on that takes us to this close-up. Plant bulb, plant potato. Oh, I didn't get water yet. Look at watering can. Oh, do I not actually have the watering can? Oh, I do. Why didn't that work? Did I mistype it? Or does it not work in the close-up for some reason? Oh, no. Oh, no. So what's happening here... This is one of the cases, this is one of the cases that I was fixing earlier. Because the way World Builder works, if you look at something that the game doesn't recognize as an object, it will print the room description. So let's say you type look at tomato. The World Builder will automatically print the room description. So I wanted to have that behavior even in cases where we're using code to provide the room description. And I updated all the code to do that, but now what's happening is our code to look at inventory items is in global code. So before it gets to that code at all, it's hitting that check for looking at something. So that means I've completely broken stuff in every room where we have a custom description that's handled by code. So I think I actually need to change that back, because even though it's not consistent with the way World Builder works, it's much better than not being able to do certain actions at all. Like if you type "look at Sweetie" in the backyard, for example, it's not going to work, and that's a significant issue. Did I say that? This means I've completely broken everyone. I don't think I said that, did I? Everything. Oh, okay. Yes. I don't think it's dramatic. I think it's factual. But it's fine. We'll fix it. Okay. And hopefully this time I will remember that it has to be that way. That I thought of this at one point when I noticed this issue on a recent stream. I was like, wait, was there a reason I did it this way? And now I remember running this issue before. So look equals must be 2, or it breaks looking at items. Yeah, there's just really no way to fix that. Streamers will say anything to get those subs. Oh, okay. Werewolf is wrapping up soon. I guess that means I need to wrap up soon. Let me take a quick break to take my dinner time medications, and then I'll come back and wrap things up. Back in a minute or two. have returned. Seems to be raining. The air in Michigan is finally good again, which is wonderful. However, now it's raining, so I still can't go for a walk, but soon, perhaps. I'm excited to go for a walk again. It's been like a week. I miss it. Efton said, every Sunday there is a full moon and Unseeker Crush brings back mystery meat for dinner. Yes. Every second or sometimes third Sunday, but otherwise correct, yes. Okay, so where were we? I realized my terrible mistake, but we still have some things we can test. So we need to get this plant to grow. Can we water the plant yet? Okay, good. So now I want to back up from here, and I should be able to, if I happen to click on this tiny little sprout, we should still get to the close-up. Great. And then we'll wander around until the plant is fully grown. Perfect. So now we should be able to click either on the battery or on part of the plant to get to the close-up. Good. Great. So that's all fine. And then the next thing to test is our goofy alternative way to insert the battery into the little sweetie. So open little sweetie. You have to jump 6 times to reach that battery. Fortunately, not the case. Okay. So we're going to do open palm, slam battery into the compartment. Perfect. You definitely slam the fresh battery into the compartment using the palm of your hand. It is a very cool and smooth move, and you wish anyone was here to witness it. Fantastic. And then we added handling of remove battery. Oh no, you can't move anything here. What? Take battery. Why isn't this work? Oh, did I get an item name wrong? Or something? What if I click on it? Huh. Okay. I don't know what I screwed up, but I definitely screwed something up. Don't remove it. You don't know where it's been. What did I do? Adrift on a Sea suggests if not rand divided by 10, insert light bulb. I was about to say we can't actually do code like that, but that's not true. We can do a random number and divide it by 10. Modulo 10. Yes, thank you. My mistake. I went right past it. Okay, I see what happened. Okay. I put the code in this block, but that's not the correct place for it. This block is for inserting the battery, so it's checking if the player has the fresh battery. But what we want is a section for actions that you might try when the fresh battery is inserted. So if it's in the scene, not in the player's inventory. I think that's the only action we want to handle in that scenario. So if you click on it or try to take it at that point, it just says, since the battery seems to be working, you decide it's best to leave it installed. Drift on Sea says modulo 10, so the remainder, only if you want Donkey Scully. Okay. So that should work now, and unfortunately I have to go through all those steps to test it again. I probably should have done a save, but I didn't. Would it be hard to make Scully Island? I don't know. It depends on what you mean by that, Apton. Okay, so we need the watering can. Need the potato. Wait, let me think. We're testing... We're testing removing the fresh battery. Okay, so we can actually skip the plant stuff. Since we can just pick up the fresh battery right here. Just had to think about that for a second. The cheat items code that I put in kind of puts the world in a little bit of a weird state. But I think this should work fine and get us to the part we're trying to test. Look behind you, a three-headed molder. Oh no. F-Time clarifies, we can just leave it at that. I just wanted to say the words. Okay, that's fair. I didn't actually need to open that. Let's use the sweetie again. I can't believe my new Donkey Island time. I didn't expect to do that well. And now I'm curious how much better I could do. Okay, remove battery, which is kind of funny because we actually already had a used battery in our inventory. But now we can insert battery. You insert the fresh battery into the compartment. Now we can remove battery. Since the battery seems to be working, you decide it's best to leave it installed. And same thing if we click on it. Let's try some other options like take battery. Oops, too many T's. Take battery. My new time is 14 minutes, 23.78 seconds. Which is much better than I expected. Honestly, I thought it would be a while before I managed below 15. And I know I can do a little bit better, but I'm not sure how much better. I do think, like, if I was able to get that, it's probably doable to get under 14. But it might be tricky. Like, I hate to say it, but if I didn't frolic, I could have saved a couple seconds probably. Beyond that, it'd just be like improving my clicking, getting it really precise, and I don't know how much that would add up to. Okay, so that's all good. And that's everything I had to test. If you're not frolicking, is it even worth it though? Yeah, exactly. Like I had one run where I didn't frolic and I regretted it. I think it's wrong. Okay, so next I'm gonna undo the thing that was very tedious to do earlier. We're going to make all our look commands 2 equal signs, and that'll just be how it works. So let's see. I think... Yeah, okay, so the kind of unwanted behavior that will now happen is that if you look at something that the game engine doesn't understand, in one of the few rooms where we have a custom room description, it'll just print nothing. Which isn't great, but it's also not terrible, so... Frolic like the dog food. We're referring to frolic as the action of frolicking. I'm very curious what dog food there is. Oh yeah, look at that. Frolic dry dog food. Five fresh packs. It looks delicious. 2 categories, fastest time to frolicking and 100%, which includes frolic. I think this is valid. I was also considering an anchor percent run. Fastest time to anchor tasting. I strongly support these categories. I feel a little bit weird about adding them before literally anyone else has submitted a Donkey Island speedrun, but it is tempting. I'm a little nervous about being a moderator for a game because I don't want to get in trouble by like breaking unwritten rules. Is it okay to just make up weird categories because you think it's fun? Probably, but I don't know. Is there 100%? Are there points? So let's see. What did I do? I think I added the current run category. Yeah, I did at any percent. Just because it seemed like that was the typical run category to use if, you know, there's not really 100%, you know, like if there's not anything meaningful to differentiate the two. Currently, as far as I understand, 100% run is really the only way to do it. But if someone could figure out a way to skip certain portions of the game, that would be a valid run for any percent, of course. You know, at that point, it might be appropriate to add a separate 100% category. But until that comes up, I figured any percent made the most sense. Worst thing that happens is nobody runs a category and or they delete it. Sure, yeah. Have to frolic in 100%. I agree. Okay, so we're just gonna do this all again. I really wish I could hit Command W to close these windows, but it's not an option. I'm just checking. I wonder, I could maybe open World Builder up in ResEdit and add that shortcut. Oh, that's the rectangle shortcut. But maybe I could change that. It's a little bit tempting. No, I accidentally moved that. Don't want to save that. Okay, so there's one.
Hello.
Hello, Neji? Let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Welcome. Uli says should be possible. Yeah, I couldn't think of any reason why it wouldn't be. Okay, so we're just adding back our second equal sign that we spent so much time to remove. Unsecret Crush said, microphone probably can't pick it up, but it's raining loud. Yes, I can hear it very well. Ideally, with this fancy new microphone, we're getting less background sound than previously. But I'm not really used to it, so I don't know how much it can pick up. But yeah, it is a very nice rain sound. I will say, I used to enjoy rain sounds a lot more. Then I had to deal with a flooded basement because of a lot of rain. So it's hard to fully enjoy it the way I used to now. Matt Glad, welcome. Great to see you over here. Are you being forced to do this by some crazy Aussie streamers I know? No? No. No one's forcing me to do anything. I hope you're doing well. Let's see. Owning a home can change the relationship to a heavy rain. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. You'd notice if menu select was missing because that handles menu bar clicks. Interesting. He's forced to say he's not being forced. I guess we'll never know. I accidentally opened the wrong thing. And this scene has a lot of code, so we're going to be here for a little bit. I don't think this is even one that we need to fix. Yep. I don't think this is either. Tasmanian carpet cleaning, top job every time. Tasmanian carpet cleaning, 236689. God, shoot, what is the channel? Pushing Up Roses, nice. I think. We had some Pushing Up Roses, Murder, She Wrote episodes playing, like just kind of like summaries of different episodes. And then after a while, it started, YouTube started auto-playing different stuff. And it got to an Australian show called... Oh, it was on the tip of my tongue. I had it and then I lost it. Round the... Shit. Round the something. I was just thinking of it earlier, but now that I have to share the information, it's gone. Round the Twist. Thank you. It was an episode about Round the Twist, and wow, that is a wild show. What is going on in Australia? Or alternatively, why doesn't America have shows that weird? Honestly, I think America needs to, like, loosen up a little bit. I feel like I'm spacing out a little bit and not checking things correctly, but I think we're good. That one doesn't matter. This one... Better than America currently. Yeah, for sure. For sure. What did Australia do now? We were just talking about another weird Australian show I have learned about called Round the Twist. I really enjoyed the frog episode. There's some kind of frog-related contest in which someone entered a toad, and then the toad started eating all the frogs. And then one of the entrants put some magic underpants on their frog, which earlier in the episode had allowed the human to do all sorts of amazing things. But then at one point, the underpants shrunk and were quite small. I believe the episode was titled Wonder Pants. So then the tiny magic underpants were put on the frog, and the frog was able to jump very, very high, all the way up into space. And when the frog came back down, it landed on the toad, and then everything exploded. There was just green goo everywhere. I'm not sure what happened after that. But it was quite a thing to behold. Oops. Crap, where was I? I accidentally closed. Our last prime minister tried to be Trump light, but faced a lot of pushback. Well, that's good at least. So this one we need to update. Hello, Game Dev Jeff. Good to see you. Let me give you a shout out here for your games y'all are working on. Hinton says, if I didn't know better, I'd say you were making this up. I promise I did not. I didn't make it up, at least. For all I know, Pushing Up Roses made it up. But there was footage of it, and it looked like a real thing that people made. And is my understanding that it did in fact air in Australia. Oh, you are familiar with it, in fact. One of the actors in Round the Twist was a parent at a school I went to. Caused a bit of a fan congestion when they showed up after school to collect their kids. Oh, wow. Jeez. Hello, Silver. Welcome back. Have destroyed one hand by not wearing thick enough gloves when using a reciprocating saw. Oh, yikes. Silver's message of the day, do not do this. I hope you don't literally mean you destroyed your hand. I hope you're okay. I assume you would either not be here or be saying much more dramatic things if it was anything especially bad. Are you posting from the ER? I hope not. I hope you didn't have to go to the ER. They don't build robot hands like they used to. Yeah, that is true. Been cutting costs with less expensive materials. Culinary, hello. Just put it back on and pour some RE8 juice on it. Yeah, that is a valid solution, I think. Okay, here's another scene we need to fix. Oh yeah, I remembered another Round the Twist episode I learned about. In this one, there was some sort of pissing contest, and this small child was not able to piss super impressively, but then at some point he meets a water fairy, and then he's able to piss just like incredibly high, just like straight up practically, and then wins the pissing contest, and everything is great. That's all I can remember from that episode. Hello, Snowy Pine. I honestly, I kind of want to watch this show now. Two equal signs. Silver says, yeah, but artificial skin that can work over an exoskeleton frame is expensive. That's true. Oh, now I'll be fine. It was 2 layers of skin, like a blister on a blister that got tore in a few parts. Yikes. Some liquid bandage and it'll be fine. Probably. It'll be fine. Okay, good. Thank you for insisting it'll be fine, because that sounds pretty unpleasant. Contact MZizzy for all your Round the Twist needs. Noted. Okay. This actually isn't one we care about. Bus schedule. That one's fine. Backyard is one. Okay. I kind of like these Sunday streams where I just decide that it's fine if I am only doing boring stuff. It's just like there's I guess since I decide that up front, there's no pressure to be interesting, and I try to make it clear what everybody's in for. So it's very relaxing to just poke at little uninteresting stuff and chat with y'all. Oh, Hinton says, oh sweet, Round the Twist is on New Zealand Netflix. I love this for you. I don't love it for me. But I hope you enjoy it. Uli says, on one hand, I adore the custom window borders and controls in World Builder. On the other hand, they're horrible usability-wise. Yes. If they had just customized the appearance and kept the same functionality, it'd be great. But that's not what they did. So, if I need to scroll all the way to the bottom, I have to just click repeatedly. I can't just drag the little box down. It's terrible. Okay, that's it? We're done? We're done with that. Let's go ahead and check that real quick we'll check the backyard and the flower pot, I think was another one. Yeah. I ran into that in the flower pot, so that's worth checking it. CDEFs don't really do just customize the appearance. You get to re-implement the whole scroll bar from scratch. Yeah. Yeah, that's obviously I never did any Mac development way back in this time period, but even much more recently, it was a thing that took me a lot of time to learn, is that if I wanted to customize something just a little bit, I had to very thoroughly customize it, which was often a little bit frustrating. Cheat items. So I'm testing, just looking at things. I guess we'll go ahead and pick up all of this. We don't really need all of it, but that's fine. So we need to be able to look at the sweetie here. That works fine. Close it. Oh, right. I just remembered a thing. Okay, I did make a note of it. Exiting the certificate we never fixed. Go, whoops. Accidentally open Spotlight. You look at book. Okay. Great. That's all good. Unsuker Crush says, I optimistically checked if US Netflix also had Round the Twist, but I'm disappointed to report it does not. I would be shocked, but also delighted if they did. It's such a bummer that all TV stuff is online now, but there's still so much separation of what you can watch in different countries and stuff. And I get that it's all different companies and different licensing in different regions and stuff. I totally understand it. It sucks that it's still such a big concern. I was just about to say we could make Hinton stream it in Discord, and they already offered, which is great. I support this. At least we have things like that. Okay, so let's fix our certificate situation. So this should behave pretty much identically to the cloth close-up. Okay, so with that, we have code to change the menu to just be a close option, and then we have all this code to take you back to where you were previously. And then we have some other responses if you try to do certain other actions. Okay, so most of this is fine as it is. Oh, shoot, I missed the first line? Let's go back and grab that again. Okay, so that sets our menu to just close. Then we have done, close, return, put away, or back. And then this takes us to where we were previously. And then down here, we need to change this response a little bit. So if you try to go in a direction, it says you should put away the certificate first so you can see where you're going. Or you should put away the certificate first if you want to drop something. Oh, also the certificate description needs a space at the end. There we go. Hinton says, I have to leave my house now. I hope I don't get stuck at a bus stop in Purgatory. I hope this for you also. Good luck out there, Hinton. And thanks for hanging out. Okay, so we start off with the certificate, so we can go ahead and look at it right away. Good. And our menu is just close, and that works. Let's go somewhere else and make sure. We can put away. Look at wit. What else? If we try to go a direction north, you should put away the certificate first so you can see where you're going, and then if we try to drop something, what do I even have? Oh, that's interesting. I accidentally typed inventory, but it understood that. Your pack contains a rapier sharp wit, so I guess all we can drop is the thing we're looking at. You should put away the certificate first if you want to drop something. Okay. So yeah, that's all working good now. 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, noted. Thank you. Let's see. We could do one other quick thing here, I think. Let's maybe look into solving getting water if you already have water. It's not a big deal, but I think it'd be nice to handle that more appropriately. So that's in the bathroom. So, just trying to think if I need to get out my notebook finally. I can't remember what variable keeps track of whether there's water. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's this one here, because we changed that when you get the water. But let me double check. W1 is Wi-Fi. There we go. W2, water and watering can. So if it's set to 1, then you do have water already. So what we want to do here is nest yet another if statement that says if W2 number sign is less than 1, then you can get water. Otherwise, we'll print. There's already, let's actually say the watering can is already full of water. That's good. And again, we need to do the same thing down here. So if W2 number sign is less than 1, then, and I'm checking for less than 1 because Allegedly, a variable starts out as some unknown value that is less than 0. From what I've come across, I don't know that that's actually true, but since that's what the manual tells us to do, it seems safer to... So, you know, if it's 0, this will still work. If it's something less than 0, it'll still work. Okay, so now we'll check that in both scenarios, which is either get water or fill watering can. I love that we accomplished so much today. We fixed so many little things. And then we also added 2 significant new things to my to-do list. Talking to Agent Scully, and also Hinton suggested that the stops on the bus schedule change every time you look at them. I think maybe we'll do like 3 different versions, and like each time it'll pick a random one to display. I think that's a fun little like element of weirdness. And honestly, neither of those things should be especially difficult, so that's fine. Okay, so we need the watering can. That's not a thing. Cheat items. And I think that's all we need. Cheat house. Those are nice to haves, not MVP. Yeah, I think so, but also I do feel fairly strongly about them. I have a lot of things that I'm kind of leaving until all the like core gameplay stuff is finished. But I feel like there's good odds I'll end up doing most, if not all of them. But yeah, those will definitely be going on that particular list. Okay, so let's try get water. Can't get the water while the lid is closed. Open lid. Get water. No water in the toilet. Flush. Now there's water. Let's get water again. It's a bit difficult to get the watering can in the toilet, but you managed somehow. Let's get water again. The watering can is already full of water. Finally, perfect. Let's look at watering can. It's a watering can with a white enamel paint over most of it. The handle is a shiny gold. It's currently full of toilet water. Perfect. All right, let's start over and try that again with the separate code path where we handle fill watering can. Sat Studio says, glad I could catch a stream and congrats on your PB in Donkey Island. Gotta run. Thank you. I was glad to have you here, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Okay, so fill watering can. Can't get water while the lid is closed. Fill watering can. There's no water in the toilet. Let's drop the watering can. I didn't test this the other way, but that's okay. Fill watering can. Great. Flush. Fill watering can. Good. Already full of water. Great. So that all worked perfectly. I'm gonna... Somewhere in my notes, I have a section of like things I just need to remember. Here we go. I'm copy and pasting my note that we need to have 2 equal signs when we're checking for the look command. Because I don't want to forget that. Okay, I think we're probably done. Yeah. We'll leave it on the toilet screen. A very productive day, I must say. Thank you all for hanging out. So, schedule. Ooh, I gotta update my schedule on Twitch. So let me hit this button here. That will take you to schedule. That is not entirely correct. I'll be streaming next on Tuesday. I will be playing the X-Files game and most likely finishing it. But then after that, I'm going to be on a break from streaming for probably a couple weeks. I said the other day that I might stream on the 21st, but that's pretty unlikely. So I'm going to say tentatively my next... well, we'll see. Sometime after the 21st will be my next stream after Tuesday. But you'll have to keep an eye on Twitch or Twitter or Mastodon or Discord or whatever. I think there's links to my Mastodon and Twitter account from my Twitch page. Yeah, it is a big break. Honestly, I'm gonna be sad to not stream for so long, but I'm sure it'll go back quickly. Okay, so I guess we need to find someone to raid now. I think. Oh, also, Unsecret Crush will be most likely streaming tomorrow. I think near Automata, whichever you prefer. Let's see who we can raid here. My iPad stand broke, so I had to find a different iPad stand. It's a little bit weird. Let's see. Got some folks I don't normally get to raid, so let's do that. Let's go say hello to Dr. CDCS. Don't worry, we'll all find other streams and forget you. Oh no! Please don't forget about me. I'll be back someday, I promise. But seriously, we'll be here whenever you start up again. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you all for hanging out. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday or Monday, perhaps, depending on where you are. And we'll see you around. Take care. Bye.